the haunting echoes of America's most troubled homes in the shadowy corners of American suburbia, where manicured lawns and white picket fences belie deeper, darker truths, stands a particular category of haunted locations that chills even the most skeptical hearts: the suicide home. These are not mere houses with tragic histories. They are vessels of profound despair, where the weight of human suffering has left an indelible mark on both the physical structure and the spiritual atmosphere within. Unlike other haunted locations where ghosts might be playful or mischievous, suicide homes carry a distinct aura of sorrow and desperation that permeates every room, every hallway, and every shadow. The phenomenon of haunted suicide homes represents a unique intersection between paranormal activity and psychological trauma. These residences become prisons not just for their living occupants, but potentially for the spirits of those who could not bear to leave this world through natural means. The energy of self-inflicted death seems to create a vortex of supernatural activity that defies conventional explanations and challenges our understanding of life, death, and what may lie beyond. From chilling apparitions to inexplicable physical manifestations, these homes serve as both warnings and mysteries, inviting us to explore the complex relationship between human consciousness and the spaces we inhabit. What sets suicide homes apart from other haunted locations is the palpable sense of unfinished business that lingers in their walls. While many haunted houses feature spirits bound by external circumstances, murder victims seeking justice, children looking for lost parents, or soldiers reliving battles, suicide homes often contain entities trapped by their own choices. The paradox of voluntary departure combined with the apparent inability to move on creates a particularly potent form of haunting that affects both the living and the dead. Residents report feelings of overwhelming sadness, sudden temperature drops, and the unmistakable sensation of being watched, all while struggling to understand why these phenomena seem concentrated in specific areas of the home. The exploration of America's most haunted suicide homes requires more than just a casual interest in ghost stories. It demands a willingness to confront the darkest aspects of human nature while maintaining sensitivity to the real tragedies that occurred within these walls. Each location we'll examine carries its own unique narrative, blending historical fact with supernatural folklore to create stories that challenge our perceptions of reality. From Victorian mansions with tragic family legacies to modern suburban homes hiding devastating secrets, these properties share common threads of despair while maintaining their individual haunting signatures. For those drawn to the supernatural, suicide homes present particularly compelling cases for investigation. The combination of verifiable historical records documenting the suicides, coupled with consistent reports of paranormal activity from multiple independent sources, creates a foundation for credible research. Professional paranormal investigators, psychologists, and historians have all contributed to our understanding of these locations, each bringing their expertise to bear on the complex interplay between human tragedy and alleged supernatural phenomena. Their findings suggest patterns that transcend individual cases, hinting at universal truths about how spaces absorb and reflect intense emotional energy. As we delve into the stories of America's most haunted suicide homes, we must approach these narratives with both scientific curiosity and human compassion. These are not merely tales designed to thrill or frighten, they represent real lives cut tragically short, and the lingering impact of those choices on subsequent inhabitants. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher, a homeowner considering purchasing property with a dark past, or simply someone fascinated by the intersection of history and the supernatural, these stories offer valuable insights into how our environments can become imbued with the energies of those who've occupied them before us. We'll examine police reports detailing mysterious occurrences that began immediately after tragic events and follow the journeys of families who've attempted to live within these haunted walls. Each story will shed light not only on the supernatural claims themselves but also on how these homes affect the mental health and well-being of those brave enough to dwell within them. The phenomenon of haunted suicide homes raises important questions about property disclosure laws, mental health awareness, and our collective responsibility to address the lasting impacts of personal tragedy on shared spaces. As we journey through these haunted halls, we'll discover that the true horror lies not in the supernatural elements themselves but in the human stories behind them, stories of pain, loss, and the desperate hope for redemption that transcends even death itself. Let us step carefully into these troubled spaces, armed with both skepticism and empathy, ready to uncover the chilling truths that make these locations some of America's most haunted suicide homes. A century of despair among America's most infamous haunted suicide homes stands the enigmatic Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, though its connection to suicide extends far beyond its labyrinthine walls. Sarah Winchester, heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, embarked on a 38-year architectural odyssey following the deaths of her husband and infant daughter, allegedly driven by a medium's warning that she must continually build to appease the spirits of those killed by Winchester firearms. This compulsion led to the creation of a sprawling mansion with 160 rooms, featuring staircases that lead nowhere, doors opening into solid walls, and windows overlooking other rooms, all designed to confuse malevolent spirits. However, the house's haunted reputation took a darker turn in 1922 when Sarah herself died alone in her bedroom, reportedly having taken her own life rather than face eternity with the countless souls she believed haunted her home. The Winchester house's paranormal activity manifests in numerous ways, each connected to its tragic history. Maintenance staff consistently report hearing phantom footsteps traversing hallways, accompanied by the sound of hammers striking nails and saws cutting wood, echoes of the never-ending construction that consumed Sarah's life. More disturbing are the accounts from overnight security personnel who've witnessed apparitions of men in old-fashioned work clothes, presumably the original builders, still toiling away at their impossible task decades after their deaths. These spectral workers often appear near areas where construction accidents claimed lives during the house's rapid expansion period. One particularly chilling aspect of the Winchester house's haunting involves the numerous reported suicides of later occupants and visitors. In the years following Sarah's death, several caretakers and staff members met tragic ends within the mansion's walls, with official records documenting at least 5 confirmed suicides between 1925 and 1947. The most notable case involved a young tour guide named Margaret Hutton, whose body was discovered hanging in the same room where Sarah had spent her final days. Her diary, found afterward, contained detailed descriptions of feeling watched and pulled toward darkness by unseen forces, echoing similar sentiments expressed by others who couldn't withstand the house's oppressive atmosphere. Professional paranormal investigations conducted at the Winchester house have yielded compelling evidence supporting its haunted status. Thermal imaging cameras have captured heat signatures matching human forms in areas sealed off from public access for decades. Electromagnetic field detectors register consistent spikes in locations corresponding to documented construction accident sites and former servant quarters. Perhaps most disturbing are the numerous EVP recordings capturing what sounds like overlapping voices speaking in multiple languages, theorized to represent the diverse victims of Winchester rifles throughout history. These recordings often include pleas for release or revenge, suggesting the spirits remain trapped in a state of unrest. The house's unique architecture contributes significantly to its haunted reputation, creating an environment where normal acoustic and visual phenomena take on supernatural qualities. The maze-like layout, with its numerous dead ends and false passages, naturally amplifies feelings of disorientation and claustrophobia. Add to this the documented cases of visitors experiencing severe vertigo and panic attacks in certain rooms, and the line between psychological suggestion and genuine paranormal activity becomes increasingly blurred. Psychologists studying the effects of the house's design on human perception have noted how its intentionally confusing layout might trigger latent anxieties and fears, potentially explaining some of the reported phenomena without diminishing their impact. Security footage from various points throughout the mansion has captured numerous unexplained occurrences that defy rational explanation. Motion-activated cameras have recorded doors opening and closing by themselves, particularly in areas known to be favorite haunts of Sarah Winchester herself. Night vision equipment has documented figures moving through walls and floors, seemingly unaware of physical barriers. Most alarming are the instances where recorded footage shows individuals entering rooms but failing to emerge, despite verified exit logs confirming their departure from the building. These visual anomalies contribute to the growing body of evidence suggesting the Winchester house exists simultaneously in multiple dimensions or states of reality, The psychological impact on those who've lived and worked within the Winchester house cannot be overstated. Former residents and long-term employees frequently report developing symptoms resembling post-traumatic stress disorder, including nightmares, flashbacks, and uncontrollable anxiety attacks. Some describe feeling touched or grabbed by invisible hands, while others speak of hearing whispered threats in languages they don't understand. Several have documented their experiences in journals and letters, noting a pattern of increased paranoia and depression that correlates with time spent inside the mansion. Medical professionals reviewing these accounts have struggled to attribute the symptoms solely to environmental factors or psychological suggestion, leaving open the possibility of genuine supernatural influence. Perhaps most compelling are the documented cases of psychics and mediums who've attempted to communicate with the spirits inhabiting the Winchester house, only to suffer severe emotional and physical consequences. Several prominent paranormal investigators have reported experiencing nosebleeds, migraines, and temporary paralysis while conducting sessions within the mansion's walls. Others describe feeling an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering certain rooms, accompanied by physical sensations of being pushed or pulled towards specific locations. These experiences mirror accounts from earlier residents and visitors, suggesting a consistent pattern of malevolent energy focused on particular areas of the house. The Winchester Mystery House stands as a testament to how personal tragedy, combined with architectural eccentricity and historical significance, can create an environment uniquely suited for paranormal activity. Its reputation as one of America's most haunted suicide homes stems not just from its tragic origins, but from the ongoing pattern of despair and self-destruction that seems to infect those who dwell within its walls. Whether viewed through the lens of supernatural belief or psychological analysis, the house represents a perfect storm of conditions that challenge our understanding of space, time, and human consciousness. As we continue exploring America's haunted suicide homes, the Winchester house serves as a powerful reminder of how grief, guilt, and obsession can transform a simple residence into a vessel of eternal unrest. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of Griffith Manor's haunting involves the recurring pattern of suicides mirroring previous incidents. In 1983, a rising starlet named Samantha Price hung herself in the exact spot where Evelyn Blair had ended her life 48 years earlier. Her suicide note, written in lipstick on the bathroom mirror, read identical words to Blair's final message. "The spotlight burns too bright." This eerie repetition extended to the method of death and even the choice of attire. Both women wore vintage silk robes gifted by director Cecil B. DeMille during their heyday. The mansion's basement studio, originally built for Evelyn's private film screenings, serves as ground zero for many paranormal encounters. Visitors report seeing flickering images on blank walls, depicting scenes from forgotten films starring the home's previous occupants. Professional paranormal teams using spectrum analyzers have detected electromagnetic frequencies matching those used in early motion picture projection equipment, despite the absence of any such devices in the space. More disturbing are the EVP recordings capturing overlapping dialogue from different eras, suggesting temporal distortions or dimensional bleed-through within the room. Maintenance staff document regular equipment malfunctions and unexplained power surges throughout the property, particularly during thunderstorms when lightning strikes nearby. Lights flicker in sequence along the main staircase, recreating the path Evelyn supposedly walked during her final moments. Door handles turn independently, especially those leading to rooms where suicides occurred, while faucets turn on and off without explanation. The swimming pool, site of a 1974 drowning that may have been intentional, maintains a constant temperature of 68 degrees regardless of seasonal changes, matching the water temperature on the night of the incident. Psychic mediums who've investigated Griffith Manor described feeling overwhelming waves of creative frustration and existential despair emanating from specific locations within the home. The master bedroom closet, where Evelyn stored her costumes, reportedly contains a vortex of negative energy that causes electronic devices to malfunction. Similarly, the writing desk in Charles Morant's study generates static electricity strong enough to cause minor burns on contact. These phenomena align with documented cases of creative professionals experiencing sudden blocks or breakdowns while working in these spaces, suggesting an environmental factor beyond mere coincidence. The property's garden, once featured in numerous Hollywood productions, hosts its own collection of supernatural occurrences. Rose bushes planted by Evelyn continue to bloom out of season, their petals bearing unusual frost patterns even during summer months. Gardeners report finding antique film reels buried beneath the soil, despite thorough documentation showing no such items existed on the property before recent discoveries. Most unsettling are the reports of disembodied voices calling out classic film lines, audible only when standing precisely at the center of the formal hedge maze installed by Carolyn Bennett shortly before her death. Current owners maintain meticulous records of paranormal activity, cross-referencing witness statements with environmental data and historical documents. Their findings reveal a correlation between reported phenomena and significant dates in Hollywood history, such as Academy Awards ceremonies or anniversary milestones related to previous occupants' careers. This pattern extends to the manifestation of apparitions, which often appear dressed in period-appropriate costumes reflecting their era of fame. Security footage shows these figures interacting with physical objects, moving furniture or adjusting window treatments, as if maintaining the home against time's erosion. The mansion's connection to Hollywood's suicide epidemic extends beyond its immediate occupants. Numerous industry professionals, including directors, producers, and actors, have reported experiencing vivid nightmares about the property after visiting for parties or photo shoots. Some claim to hear whispers of criticism from imaginary audiences while standing in particular rooms, while others describe feeling physically restrained when attempting to leave certain areas. These psychological effects persist long after their visits, contributing to a cycle of depression and anxiety that mirrors the fate of those who called Griffith Manor home. Professional paranormal researchers studying the property have identified several hotspots of activity corresponding to known locations of past suicides. Thermal imaging reveals consistent cold spots in these areas, while electromagnetic field meters detect fluctuations matching brainwave patterns associated with deep meditation or REM sleep. Particularly compelling are the instances where multiple investigative teams, working independently, produce identical results regarding the timing and nature of supernatural manifestations. This consistency lends credibility to claims that Griffith Manor represents more than just a collection of tragic coincidences. It embodies a convergence of artistic ambition, societal pressure, and personal demons that continues to resonate through its haunted halls. The haunting of Seabreeze Manor, perched dramatically on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Seabreeze Manor in Big Sur, California, presents a haunting paradox. A luxurious seaside estate where the boundaries between beauty and tragedy blur into spectral uncertainty. Built in 1912 by shipping magnate Arthur Cavanaugh as a retreat for his family, the property's breathtaking views mask a legacy of maritime disaster and personal tragedy that has earned it recognition as one of America's most haunted suicide homes. The manor's isolation, combined with its proximity to treacherous coastal waters, created the perfect storm of environmental and emotional factors that amplified its supernatural reputation. The first documented supernatural occurrence traces back to 1923 when Arthur's wife, Margaret, disappeared under mysterious circumstances. While officially ruled a suicide by drowning, local fishermen reported seeing her ghostly figure wandering the cliffs each evening, searching for something lost to the sea. Decades later, paranormal investigators using underwater sonar equipment discovered a peculiar anomaly in the cove below the property, a cluster of dense, unexplainable masses that seemed to pulse with energy during full moons. Divers attempting to investigate these formations described feeling overwhelming pressure to surface, accompanied by auditory hallucinations of crying and pleading voices carried by the ocean currents. The manor's library, where Arthur conducted his shipping business, serves as a focal point for much of the property's paranormal activity. Current residents report books flying from shelves in precise patterns, spelling out coordinates and dates matching shipwrecks linked to the Cavanaugh family's maritime ventures. Particularly disturbing are the instances where nautical charts spontaneously catch fire, burning in shapes that resemble the outlines of sunken vessels. Marine archaeologists studying these phenomena have documented correlations between reported activity and actual shipwreck locations, suggesting a possible psychic connection between the property and maritime disasters. The property's infinity pool, added during a 1950s renovation, has developed its own haunted reputation through a series of tragic incidents. 3 separate drownings have occurred in the pool since its construction, each victim reportedly struggling against invisible forces pulling them downward. Water quality tests conducted after these incidents revealed abnormal concentrations of salt and iron, despite the pool being filled with fresh water. More perplexing are the temperature variations recorded within the pool, with certain sections maintaining ocean-like temperatures regardless of external conditions or heating systems. Seabreeze Manor's connection to the sea extends beyond its physical boundaries through a network of natural caves carved into the cliffside. Local legend speaks of the Singing Cave, accessible only during low tide, where ethereal melodies echo through the rock formations. Acoustic experts studying these sounds have identified harmonics matching human vocal ranges, though no source can be located. The cave's interior walls display phosphorescent patterns that shift and change, forming shapes resembling ships' hulls and maritime symbols visible only under specific lighting conditions. Several visitors who ventured inside report emerging with inexplicable bruises shaped like anchor chains or rope burn marks. The Manor's solarium, converted from an original observation deck used for tracking incoming ships, hosts perhaps the most scientifically intriguing phenomenon. During storms, witnesses observe what appears to be ghostly ships materializing in the distance, complete with spectral crew members going about their duties. Maritime historians have verified that these apparitional vessels match descriptions of actual ships lost in the area, including details about rigging and paint schemes that weren't documented until recently. Thermographic cameras positioned in the solarium capture heat signatures corresponding to human forms moving across decks that shouldn't exist. Environmental factors at Seabreeze Manor contribute significantly to its haunted atmosphere, creating conditions that amplified both natural and supernatural phenomena. The property's location along a geological fault line generates microtremors that coincide with reported paranormal activity, while mineral-rich soil composition affects electromagnetic fields in ways that disrupt electronic equipment. Scientists studying these conditions have identified patterns linking seismic activity with increases in spectral sightings, suggesting a possible trigger mechanism for spirit manifestation. Additionally, the constant presence of salt-laden air creates natural ionization effects that may influence human perception and emotional states. The Manor's basement, originally designed as a wine cellar but later converted into a private museum housing artifacts from Cavanagh Shipping Ventures, serves as another hotspot for paranormal encounters. Visitors report objects rearranging themselves to form patterns resembling nautical maps, while temperature readings show consistent drops during periods of high tides. Particularly compelling are the instances where preserved artifacts, including ships' bells and navigation instruments, activate independently, producing sounds and movements matching their original functions despite being centuries old and heavily corroded. Current occupants maintain detailed logs documenting interactions with what they describe as ocean spirits, entities apparently connected to sailors lost at sea during Cavanagh-operated voyages. These manifestations often occur during significant maritime anniversaries or during periods of intense coastal weather. Witnesses report feeling sudden shifts in barometric pressure accompanied by the smell of salt water and tar, even when miles inland from the actual coastline. Security cameras positioned throughout the property have captured water droplets forming patterns on dry surfaces, spelling out names and dates matching known shipwreck casualties. Professional paranormal investigators studying Seabreeze Manor have identified a unique phenomenon they term marine resonance, the apparent ability of the property to channel and amplify energies associated with maritime disasters. Equipment designed to measure ocean wave patterns registers consistent anomalies within the manor's grounds, while spectral analysis of ambient sounds reveals harmonic frequencies matching those produced by distressed ships. These findings suggest that the property might function as a natural transducer, converting environmental stimuli into paranormal manifestations that reflect its tragic maritime history. The manor's gardens, planted with rare coastal flora imported from various ports visited by Cavanagh ships, contribute their own layer of mystery to the haunting. Certain plant species demonstrate accelerated growth rates during full moons, while others exhibit bioluminescent properties previously undocumented in terrestrial vegetation. Gardeners report discovering antique maritime instruments embedded in tree trunks or buried beneath flower beds, despite thorough documentation showing no such items existed on the property before recent discoveries. Most unsettling are the reports of disembodied voices reciting coordinates and depths, audible only when standing precisely at compass points aligned with known shipwreck locations. Park rangers and local authorities maintain confidential files documenting rescue operations launched from Seabreeze Manor's beach access point, revealing patterns connecting current maritime emergencies with historical shipwrecks. These documents show that distress calls often originate from coordinates matching ancient disaster sites, sometimes received by modern communications equipment despite distances and depths making transmission impossible. Rescue teams responding to these calls frequently report encountering environmental conditions matching those present during original catastrophes, suggesting a temporal distortion effect centered around the property. The convergence of natural beauty, tragic history, and environmental anomalies at Seabreeze Manor creates a haunting experience that transcends traditional ghost stories. Its reputation as one of America's most haunted suicide homes stems not just from individual tragedies but from the cumulative impact of maritime disasters, personal losses, and geological factors that continue to resonate through its cliffside location. Whether viewed through the lens of paranormal research or environmental science, the property represents a unique intersection of human drama and natural phenomena that challenges our understanding of space, time, and memory's persistence in physical spaces. The convergence of artistic ambition, scientific experimentation, and supernatural phenomena at Melancholy Manor creates a haunting experience that transcends traditional ghost stories. Its reputation as one of America's most haunted suicide homes stems not just from individual tragedies but from the cumulative impact of musical innovation, personal losses, and environmental factors that continue to resonate through its stone walls. Whether viewed through the lens of paranormal research or acoustic science, the property represents a unique intersection of human creativity and metaphysical energies that challenges our understanding of sound, space, and memory's persistence in physical spaces. Embracing the shadows, understanding America's haunted suicide homes as we draw the curtains on our exploration of America's most haunted suicide homes, we're left with profound reflections on the intricate dance between human tragedy and supernatural phenomena. These residences, far from being mere collections of bricks and mortar tainted by past sorrows, stand as complex ecosystems where architectural design, historical context, and human emotion converge to create environments uniquely suited for paranormal activity. The patterns we've uncovered across multiple locations, from the Winchester Mystery House's labyrinthine despair to Griffith Manor's cinematic echoes, from Seabreeze Manor's maritime tragedies to Melancholy Manor's sonic symphonies, reveal universal truths about how spaces absorb and reflect intense emotional energy. These haunted homes challenge our conventional understanding of property ownership and habitation. They demand that potential buyers and residents approach their acquisition with eyes wide open to both the historical and supernatural implications. Disclosure laws regarding paranormal activity remain inconsistent across jurisdictions, making it imperative for prospective homeowners to conduct thorough research beyond standard inspections and title searches. Consulting with professional paranormal investigators, reviewing local historical records, and speaking with previous occupants can provide crucial insights into a property's haunted potential. For those already residing in suspected haunted homes, establishing clear boundaries and protective measures, whether through traditional cleansing rituals, modern technological solutions, or simply maintaining active awareness, becomes essential for preserving mental health and personal safety. The phenomenon of haunted suicide homes offers valuable lessons about the intersection of mental health awareness and supernatural belief. These locations serve as physical manifestations of society's struggles with depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation, providing tangible spaces where these abstract concepts take concrete form. The cyclical nature of paranormal activity in these homes, where subsequent occupants seem predisposed to similar fates as their predecessors, suggests a powerful environmental influence that warrants serious consideration from mental health professionals. Rather than dismissing these hauntings as mere superstition, we should view them as potential indicators of underlying psychological and environmental factors requiring attention and intervention. For those drawn to explore these haunted spaces, whether as paranormal investigators, curious tourists, or potential residents, preparation becomes paramount. Beyond basic safety protocols, consider assembling a comprehensive toolkit that includes not only technical equipment like EMF detectors and thermal cameras but also resources for mental health support. Maintain a detailed journal documenting experiences and emotional responses, recognizing that prolonged exposure to these environments can have cumulative psychological effects. Approach these locations with both scientific curiosity and human empathy, acknowledging that behind every reported paranormal incident lies a human story of pain and loss deserving respect and understanding. The enduring fascination with haunted suicide homes speaks to our collective need to make sense of mortality and the afterlife. These locations serve as bridges between the known and unknown, challenging us to expand our definitions of consciousness and existence. Whether viewed through the lens of quantum physics, psychology, or metaphysical belief systems, they represent frontier spaces where traditional boundaries between science and spirituality blur. The consistent patterns of activity documented across multiple properties, from electromagnetic anomalies to temperature fluctuations, from auditory phenomena to visual apparitions, suggest underlying principles yet to be fully understood by mainstream science. Ultimately, America's haunted suicide homes invite us to reconsider our relationship with the spaces we inhabit. They remind us that buildings are not passive containers but active participants in our daily lives, absorbing and reflecting our emotions, memories, and intentions. The energy of past tragedies doesn't merely linger, it evolves, interacts, and sometimes intensifies over time, creating layers of supernatural activity that defy easy explanation. By studying these locations, we gain not just insight into paranormal phenomena but also deeper understanding of how human consciousness imprints itself on physical environments. As we conclude our journey through these haunted halls, let us remember that the true horror lies not in the supernatural elements themselves but in the human stories behind them, stories of pain, loss, and the desperate hope for redemption that transcends even death itself. These homes stand as testament to the enduring power of human emotion and its ability to shape our reality in ways both beautiful and terrifying. Whether you approach these locations as skeptic or believer, researcher or resident, they offer equally valuable lessons about resilience, compassion, and the complex interplay between our physical and metaphysical worlds. May we carry forward this knowledge with both caution and courage, honoring the memories of those who came before while forging paths toward healing and understanding in these profoundly haunted spaces.